Hey, Coach. Hope you're liking the video. If you are, subscribe down below. That would be awesome. That will help us get noticed all over the web. Also, make sure you subscribe and hit that little bell up above. You get a notification when we put a new video up every day. That's good. Also, make sure you go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better.
Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast today. I'm going to talk, I'm going to do one of Coach Collins' brain dumps again, which I always think, hopefully you find them relatively entertaining. I'm going to talk about a couple things. So if I look for the people that are watching me on YouTube and stuff like that, if I look up, it's just because I'm gathering a few of my notes and some of those things that just make it a little bit easier. So if I look over to the side or I look up, it's that sole reason that I'm just kind of looking at my notes. But anyway, you don't care. People that are listening go, why are you talking about that? Anyway, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is the Starbucks model. And this leads into a couple things that I think are important to think about and kind of deep dive into. We all know that a quiet gym is a losing gym, and that if a gym isn't communicating and doing those kind of things, it's not going to be successful. Well, here's how Starbucks trains their baristas. And I find this, I don't remember where I heard this, but I find it very intriguing that for the first 2 weeks, they don't teach them how to do specific things. And this is where the small sided game stuff comes in, but they don't teach them. They don't teach them how to make a vanilla mocha latte, blah, 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 whatever, twirl, swirl, double shot, whatever it is, for 2 weeks. They do it for a couple reasons, and I think I think there can be a relationship between that and what we do at practice and things like that. They do it so they have to ask, right? They have to get help. They have to be taught. They have to learn through experimentation in some respects, but as much as getting to know the people they're working with, communicating with them. So that's the first thing. The second thing is after 2 weeks, and they'll learn that making mistakes is okay, but after 2 weeks they'll train them. So Starbucks is smart in the sense that they're not wasting time training someone that's not going to be around either, because my guess is after those 2 weeks, the people that actually stick around and actually learn to communicate and be a team, quote unquote, team player, that the financial output that Starbucks has to put into training, there's probably a greater output for that for them. So if you think about that, that really makes a lot of sense in terms of kind of how you kind of tackle it and how you can kind of think about the Starbucks model in relation to how you set up practice and how you do things. Are you letting them make mistakes? Are you letting them learn from those things? That's the best coaches talk less. Okay. A quiet gym is a losing gym, but I bet a losing gym is a noisy gym if the voice is the coach. So just some things to think about there in terms of that. The second thing I want to talk about is kind of the championship culture and things that kind of go, it's one of those lingo words that kind of go into everything, and everyone kind of talks about, championship culture. And so you win, your culture is built day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. And it's about building relationships. When relationships help you solve problems rather than create problems. If you enjoy what you're doing right now, it's amazing what builds from that. So if you can teach them that, enjoying the moment, learning to empower others, learning to, like I've said this, if you listen to the podcast, leaders not only worry about themselves, but others. So I think it's important to think about, what we do on a day-to-day basis, great attention and great communication on each individual task and each individual day will help you accomplish more. So let me say that: great attention and great communication on each practice, on each individual day will give you amazing things as far as kind of where you're going. Empowering the players. The highest form of leadership is the one that's on the court. And teaching them is why we wouldn't want to teach our leaders to own what we are doing. We want them to embrace the grind, you know, embrace what you're doing every day. So player actions are greater than words, but words are important. Actions are greater than words, but words are important. So how you treat people and how there's this viral video going around now about this kid that was cleaning up um, paper cups after a game. His actions speak louder than his words. And my grandma used to say that all the time. So I think that it goes into, the master of how do you teach culture? How do you teach those things? You need to teach leaders on your own team. We need repetition, we need communication, we need to be open for change. Leadership must be displayed on a regular basis. You can lead those that think like you and those who don't. You can lead everyone. It's about building that specific thing. There's great books that dive into it much deeper than me, but I think your culture is kind of in a generic way, is kind of your pillars, is your family, is how kind of things work. I believe that it's important to talk to players not only, and I've said this in the podcast, not only prior to practice on an informal basis, but during the day, during the summer, off season. It always warms that communication with you. And I always like to try to find something early in practice where they're communicating. If it's a closeout drill, if it's a dribble, whatever it is where they have to communicate and spend some time, I think that's an important aspect. So again, hopefully these Coach Collins brain dumps are helpful for you moving forward.
Hey, Coach, so glad you enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe and like. Go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better.